Welcome everybody to our RealBird hands-on workshop. Glad to have you here this Friday morning. My name is Eric Zebarth. I'm a guest host on this webinar here today. I am not alone. I am joined by one of the owners and developers of RealBird. Gabe Gross is with us this morning. Good morning, Gabe. How are you?
Good morning. Everything is fine. It's sunny again on the peninsula after pretty heavy rain, and we need the water. And I'm looking though but it's really coming well timed. It's a few days of rain, then it's nice again. We're gonna have another 1 or 2 days of rain, and that's the news here from Redwood City, California,
just south of San Francisco. Well, good morning. I'm broadcasting today from northern Utah, where we're pretty much done with the snow. We got rain, but I know the East Coast has just been really slow. I say New York had like the most amount of snow it's had in 137 years. So wherever you live on the fruited plain or mountains or coast, we're welcome to have. I want to welcome you to our webinar here today. We've got lots to share with us. Gosh, things change all the time, and RealBird has always worked hard to be on the cutting edge of marketing for helping you as a real estate agent sell more homes, satisfy more buyers, be seen as an expert real estate professional. And we're going to share actually got some new tools. We always got new stuff. I've been doing these training sessions for RealBird as a guest trainer for over 10 years. And I still learn. I'm still learning every single training session I do. I learn things that I didn't know before, and I train on this stuff, and I help a lot of agents across the country implement these tools to their utmost. Well, welcome here today. The topic what we're talking about today is using social media with RealBird to prospect for buyers and sellers. And gosh, a lot of things have been happening just in the last few weeks. Big data breach at Facebook, and a lot of people are pontificating, oh my gosh, a big breach, and people are going to leave Facebook. And some people have left Facebook, and some people never were on it. There's still plenty of people there that use Facebook for obviously personal, but also for business. And RealBird can help you take advantage of that. Okay, so for those of you that I've heard quite a bit of people say, hey, because of me feeling uncomfortable at Facebook, I want to jump into maybe Instagram, because there's quite a few people. So we're going to talk about Instagram today, and we're going to talk about some of the new tools that are available with RealBird. So thanks everybody for being here. This session is going to be recorded, and I believe you're automatically sent a link letting you know that the session's been uploaded, and you'll be able to view it.
And there is this channel link that I put in there for Richard, because he asked for it, so you can subscribe there. There's a subscribe button if you want to know automatically of new webinars.
Yeah, there you go. So that you always know what's happening. We're always sharing. We're here at least a couple times a month, separated by 2 weeks, and usually on a Friday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific. Let's see, that would be 11 o'clock Eastern. So let's dive right into our content today. I always start out saying, this toolbox it's just growing and growing and growing. Now you got to pick it up with two hands instead of one hand. Basically the toolbox is made up of two major halves of the toolbox, being the listing publisher, your ability to create these single property websites, and also a property search that you can embed into your website and use links to find homes for sale, sourced by Oodle. Enough to generate leads. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but I want to talk about some of the newest tools that I'm excited about. I'm always excited about what these guys, what the RealBirds come up with. So this listing publishers give you the ability to create these unlimited single property websites. You say, why would I want a single property website? Well, you need a place, first of all, that you can control all the information about your listing. I can't tell you how many agents I work with, and they have a challenge because they go to describe a description of the home for sale, and they're limited, and they have to do the W//. You know what I'm talking about, the width, and that's fine for your MLS if they restrict you. I know I have a client in Austin, and they restrict him to 510 characters, and a character is a space too. So it's just like ridiculous. He's got these beautiful, gorgeous homes in Austin, Texas. Steve Adams of AustinHomesToday.com. And he can everything has to be abbreviated. So I actually work with him so we can kind of boil it down and come up with a description that'll fit. Well, you don't have to worry about that. You have unlimited inside RealBird to do what you want and describe your listings. Now, we talked in the last couple months, we have had these new tools that you can build these really cool landing pages. And they can be standalone, where you can add, grab them as a link and then share them with folks. If you have your SMS add-on turned on with Twilio, you can have that embedded as well. And people will see it and they don't want to fill this out. Well, they can get the information requested from you. They can receive that by doing a text. Noel, this is Noel Kreider's awesome listing in Auburn. We're going to be talking about this, sharing it today. Very low maintenance landscaping, very important where water's hard to come by, but a lot of people want this type of low maintenance landscaping. Anyway, so you could text that number and you will get the information. Of course, she'll get your cell phone number, and that's the benefit, right? That's the benefit. And it's shown that people would rather do this than this, and that's okay. Now, if you don't have your Twilio set up, there's instructions in the back end of your RealBird account under tutorials. And you can set that up under here in tutorials, and you go in, and then you can set up your Twilio. And let's see. Yep. Ooh, it's right. Yeah. I missed the spot where it's in here. I know it's in here. Anyway, I'll find that back in a second. Okay. So if you can set up your Twilio number, it's never going to cost you really more than, unless you got 50 to 100 leads, it might cost you more than $3, but most of the time it's going to cost you less than that. So set that up if you can. You can set up custom SMS if you want. And by the way, when you're posting, because we're talking about sharing your listings and your tools as a realtor inside your different social networks, a great thing to share is a text number to a phone number. So think about that, okay? All right. Yeah.
The other thing is that you don't know who the potential client is because they found you someplace, and you don't know how they prefer to communicate, right? Some people like to call, but most people really at this point, because they don't know you and they don't have much time, they don't want to call. They're reluctant. But if they would call you, then you would get a good lead maybe. Some people don't like to give their emails out. So in that sense, the landing pages are not for everybody either, because some people had their email put on spam lists, right? And so they're reluctant. But at this point, I think most people are not reluctant to text because, number one, they're not afraid of viruses, even though that's sort of like a misconception because you can, but most people are not afraid, and it's also, they know they can stop you. They can just type in stop, and then they're not going to get pesky text from you. So it's really giving somebody a choice to communicate with you the way they're comfortable.
I know I have an iPhone, and if I want to block someone, you can block that way too. So people know that they have these different ways that they can, shut you off, so that if you don't want to, they don't want to connect with you anymore. But there's a very low aversion to doing this type of thing, to get this type of information. So those are the landing pages. Okay, we talked about that in the past. We've got a couple of two more new things I want to share with you today. We'll come back to the seller email tool. Now, what happened about a couple months ago is there's a new unbranded virtual tour. It's still new to me, 2 months ago. So this is a tour version of your listing that you can share that link, okay, in your media list. When you go to load your listing in the MLS, and some of you do that, and some of your broker does that. But you would use this link as your unbranded. See, your contact information is not on there, just details about the property, and a great way to look at these photos and details and location and overview, description, right? Then you would share this link inside what's called the media list. So when you go in the MLS and you're loading the listing, it'll ask for like a media list or virtual tour list. And that's would be the link that you would use. And that's where you use the unbranded. Most MLS, I haven't run into an MLS across the country that lets you share for the virtual tour version of your listing branded. It's because what they're doing is MLS is, if you allow it to, is they're taking your listing and having it being branded by other brokers and other agents, and that's why it has to be unbranded. So, but the newest thing is that the RealBird has been working hard and come up with is a branded virtual tour. Okay, so this is Noel Kreider. She's in Auburn, California. There's her contact information. You can share this if you want. Look at that. They can, pass it on. Hey, Joe, what do you think about this house? Wouldn't this be nice for, our mom and dad? You can do that. You can contact her directly. There you go. You can see the photo gallery. Obviously, we're showing that, basically one slide at a time like this. Got some awesome pictures. But I think the full screen, to me, more details is going to be the more details that you can't, share, in the MLS. So you have more detail to be able to share. And the video, she's got a video in here. Let's see. Yeah, she linked it to her video, a YouTube video of the listing. How cool is that? Cool. So I tell you, I worked with a company for quite a few years doing the same type of training with like I do here with RealBird with a company called Tour Factory, one of the oldest virtual tour companies around. These guys have been around since like 1990 something. Anyway, I have a lot of my clients that use that virtual tour, and now I'm like, why use that? This is all included. And that service costed anywhere from $50 a tour, or a membership of, if you're paying consistently, anywhere from $20 to $30 to $50 a month for that. Well, RealBird costs around $100 or so a year, not a month, a year. So this is just an awesome. So I'm turning my clients on to say, hey, drop the Tour Factory. You don't need that. You got it all here. It's all here, included inside RealBird. Really cool tool. Okay, so here's the other new tool. So this is an email tool to send property, website, or virtual tour to your sellers and ask them to forward to the friends. It's an easy way to let your seller know about. Yeah, let them know. Show them this tool. Send it to them and show, hey, this is one of the tools I'm using to promote your home for sale. So what you do, there's seller email, and this is real easy. I can just enter. Let's enter my name and my email.
And also, so this is kind of like a stealth way for you, if you have a listing, to actually make yourself known, right? Because now you have your seller who knows you because he listed with you, potentially sending who you are, through the listing to his friends, and maybe one of his friends is looking to sell a house or buy a house, right? So it's a great way to propagate your brand.
I've worked with a lot of agents, and I talked about this and helping them, get listings and win listings and get them sold. And I share with them all the time. I think a lot of real estate agents think that, it's just their job to sell the house. And it's like, well, the agent isn't the only one that's going to benefit from a successful close. A lot of times, not everyone, but a lot of sellers, they want to be involved. And if you've helped them prepare their house properly, you've taken some awesome photography and you have a great descriptive details, no W// you have a nice description of the home, detailing it. You're giving information out through the web, so that people can attach to it and get interested. And so enlist their help to get the house sold. You still earn a commission. You're giving them systems to help them sell their home, and they'll benefit and you'll benefit. So here I've clicked this seller email tool, and I think it's also important. In my agency I work with, I coach them. It's always interesting. An agent takes a listing, and it's like, okay, so how long is it going to be in the market? If you're in Gabe's part of the country, it might be in the market a day and a half if it even makes it to the marketplace before it gets sold privately, before it goes on the MLS. But most parts of the country, the house is going to sell in about 30 to 60 days. Okay, so what are you doing? What is your plan to sell that home? I think people want to know. I think sellers want to know. I think they want to update once a week what's going on. And the more they see your systems in place and how you get their home sold for the highest price, quickest amount, shortest amount of time, least amount of trouble to them and their family, how do we make those happen? Well, with systems. This is a system. And this is a way to show, hey, this is what we're doing. Hey, we need your help here. And most sellers will understand that, appreciate that. So I've clicked this tool, email the listing to your seller or sphere of influence. Let's see, here we go. So I put my name in, I put my email. I'm using the copy that says this home's for sale. This one is, I have selected the option to have it linked to the virtual tour, not necessarily directly to the single property website, but the link's in there as well. So I love the virtual tour of this home. Take a look. That's going to be please forward or whatever. You can adapt that subject line. You want to catch their attention. Okay. Please forward this email with the property. That's the message. It's going to be it's going to happen, and you can send a test one yourself so that you can see what it looks like. Okay. And then I'm going to send this to the recipient, which is of course me because I'm testing it right now. Okay. It's been sent. So let's take a look at that, what that looks like. So I'm diving inside my email here. Okay. That's pretty quick. There we go. Noel Kreider. Okay. Let's see. Take a look at this property. It's sent to me by no. I don't know why she's got her last name there twice. Please forward this email for the seller property for, so that's editable. You don't have to leave it as that. Okay. So here's the virtual tour that's clickable. Look how clean and neat it is. I like that. Now it's going to be branded. So it's basically pulling her picture, her name, and her brokerage. It's pulling all this information from her RealBird account. So let's go ahead and let's see. See, it's going to link to, and it's going to show, it's going to show the branded virtual tour, okay, with all the stuff that I just showed you. And of course, more property details means it's going to link to the single property website. Oh no, I guess it's going to the virtual tour as well. So when you do set that tool, you have the option to pull it up again. So if I click your single property website, they'll see that, but you get to choose which one you want. Okay, awesome. So that's not hard to do. You can think about your stored emails, and you can send that. You can blast that out and send it out. I see a lot of agents blasting their listings to other agents in their office, and this would be a great way to do that. You could do that because obviously they might have a buyer for you. Right? They might have a buyer for you, your home that you're representing. Okay, so that was two of the newest tools that are available. The new seller email tool. Obviously, we've had the landing pages here for a little bit, and we've had the unbranded virtual tour. Here's the branded virtual tour. And I'm working with my clients. I'm going to be working with them now to, don't pay those virtual tour prices. I've seen them; they're expensive. As long as you get good photography taken, you can apply that within the RealBird system and do really, really well. Okay.
May I say something? So if you take pictures, then get yourself a little bit of wide angle camera, or you can get an adapter for your cell phone if you have a good cell phone. Yeah. It makes a huge difference, if you use a wide angle camera for things like small spaces, like small rooms, or if you want to
bathrooms.
Bathrooms and things like that.
Yeah, that's it. And they have tools that you can. Agents don't realize that your phone has probably anywhere from a 3 megapixel to like an 8 megapixel, maybe 10 megapixel, some of the Androids, camera that can take very high definition. And you can have adapters that you can put on them that you can order like through Amazon, and that'll actually increase the width of the picture that it takes. So there's lots of tools. I do recommend if you're going to do if you're going to use your cell phone to take good pictures, make sure obviously the lens, and they're kind of small, it's hard to see, make sure it's clean and not smudgy. And I do recommend there's some tools you can get on Amazon. It's kind of like a handy grip. I don't know if I can search and find for them now, but you can email me and I'll show you. You can email me webcoach@gmail.com, and I can send some examples of things that you can buy on Amazon, like as little as $15. And it's basically a clamp that clamps on your cell phone, and it has a single handle that you can hold. And it works incredible to take better quality shots. I see bad pictures taken by realtors with their cell phone, because if you're holding your phone with your your thumb and your pointer finger on both hands, and you're holding it, that camera can go all different ways. And you say, well, I think I'm holding it still. But that camera has an autofocus in it. in your phone. And autofocus means it's constantly recalculating based on, whether you're moving or not. If you're moving a lot, which you believe it or not, with all those joints, you are moving a lot. So if one single grip in hand makes it a lot easier to take like a video, to take photographs. It just makes the $15. It's like the best $15 you'll spend, and your camera will actually can be your friend and take some awesome shots. I've seen some shots and videos that have been incredible, but trying to take a good quality photo with your two hands, it just doesn't work very well. Okay, so we talked about the landing pages, we talked about the new virtual tour, the seller emailing tool. Let's jump ahead in our content we have today. Oh, by the way, that's just an example of what it's going to look like when it's sent to folks. Okay, so my question to you is, you have to decide. In social media, where are you going to be involved in? It's hard to be involved and interactive in all the social networks that are available. I can't like 8 are really probably the top ones to be involved with. I'm going to share with you that when I work with a client, I work with an agent and I coach them and I set up their marketing systems. I set up most of these tools that you see here, I set up with them so that they have the opportunity to be able to broadcast the listing as a seller's agent, to be able to share their listings, because that's what you're responsible for. When you take that listing, you're responsible to share it with the world in a way that's going to bring people back to you, and so that they can show the property and make an offer or whatever. So I always have a broader protocol for sharing a listing. We definitely want to use all these systems to these networks to be able to share the listing, but at the same time, it's hard to be active. That is where you're corresponding to people. You should always be building your followers in any of these systems, but it's hard. You really need to pick one or two to really be active in. So if Facebook is it, then you're sharing your post there. You're sharing your expertise. Obviously sharing listings. You're always sharing your listings. Pinterest, anyway. So you got to decide which two are you going to be more involved in, that you can interact, because it's really hard to interact in all of these. And for some of you, one might suit you or the others. I know that Instagram and Pinterest are something that I've had agents that work with, and they love design and flipping, helping people elevate their homes so they can sell them. So that kind of design part of that kind of renovation is really they're really keen on that. I know Noel actually does it really well. Most of the homes that she works with are homes that she can help people upgrade them, and they get invest $5,000 in renovating the house or upgrading it, and she'll get them $50,000 more in the marketplace than they would have got otherwise. That's just what she's good at. So for her, a Pinterest where you can share visually, and Instagram, another place you can share visually, your expertise, it might be the place for you. So pick one or two. Don't try to be active, interacting in more than one or two. Now, if you've got down to one or two and you've done good to interact and create people following you, that's kind of one way to measure your influence and depth, and people following you and people liking you. So that's what you want to do. You want to ever be increasing the people that are seeing the content you're sharing here. But it's just hard to be active where you're, acting, corresponding aggressively, I guess, in a way, more than two. Okay, so pick two, get good at them. If you do better than that, and you have more time, then you interact more in the other ones. The younger agents are younger agents. I've seen some my age in the 50s, and they're really good on texting, and they're really good posting. And if you're good at that, that's fine. But like I said, just try to pick one or two that you'd be really, really good at. I got this graphic, and I really like this graphic. Let me put it up because it kind of shows. I love these infographics. So it's just my idea on the social media networks that are out there, and this is real good. I'd love to share this with anybody. Email me at webcoach@gmail.com, and this will give you kind of like a visual. People like visuals. to be able to soak up this information and that you can be successful as an agent in doing. I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you this. I want to talk about Instagram today. We've talked a lot about Facebook before on these webinars where we've, posted a listing, shared it, and promoted it. We've talked a lot about Facebook, how to place an ad, how to create a custom audience if you want to place an ad, and so that you can reach the sphere. Because some people think that in Facebook, you can just reach the people that know you or have liked your page, and that's not true. That's one of the options you have when you share. But the other option is that you can boost a property listing or create an ad, and then you're encouraging engagement from other people that don't know you, but Facebook knows. And because of the parameters that you set, you can, I call it the audience cafeteria. You can go by, I think I want to make sure this is a home, that's 350,000. I don't think anybody with less than a $50,000, 50,000 net worth could buy it. So I want to make sure that people are going to see this listing have a net worth over $50,000. Here's a behavior that I can choose. Hey, people that have shown Facebook that based on what they've clicked on, what they've read, what they've viewed, that there might be what's called, quote, likely to move. Well, I definitely want to include that one in my mix. So you have an opportunity with Facebook. There's literally I think it's 240 different parameters that you could dial up and down your audience so that you can engage with them and share with them. And this, of course, is a great way to connect with people you don't know, with what you have to offer. It's going to cost a little money. Yeah. Most of my clients that I used Facebook with for boosting and creating a custom audience to be able to see what they have to share in Facebook and their business and real estate practice. I've been able to get clicks anywhere from 6 cents to 26 cents. Sometimes once in a while 40 cents, 80 cents, but most of it's right within under a quarter a click, and that's pretty good. If you can get, gosh, I remember the old days. That people used to, all the money they used to spend posting open house advertisements, posting their listings or going inside Google pay-per-click and paying anywhere from $1.50 to $4 a click to get people to try to engage with you. So Facebook is still a great place to be. Is everybody on Facebook? No. Gosh, what's happened in the last couple of weeks, a lot of people talk about going, I think I'll just go to Instagram. Now, you might not know this, but Instagram is owned by Facebook. And if you want to shut down your Facebook account, you actually can, and you can still have your Instagram account. So let me dive in there and talk a little more about Instagram today. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so you can have, so Instagram is more, it's kind of like Pinterest in that it's very visual, but you can have text on images, and you can write a description underneath images that you share, that, kind of description of what they're seeing. When you have a listing, I'm diving back into RealBird here. Just checking with you, Gabe. Make sure that we're still there. I just want to make sure that that you guys are seeing what I'm sharing here.
I do see what you're sharing.
Okay.
If anybody doesn't, then maybe you could raise the hands.
So I clicked on branded listing. So what RealBird does is when you create a listing and it's live, you can go in here and it'll take the first photo from your gallery and it'll brand it with your picture. So I've got this lovely picture of Noel, and I've got this address here, and call or email me, and I can then save that image, right? And so I've done that, and you can share it. Well, you can share it in a lot of different social media. That's basically there. You can share it in Craigslist, but I chose to share it inside Instagram. Now, I'm not connected directly with I can't log into Noel's Instagram, so I went and shared it as a friend. Hey, Noel Kreider, my realtor, my friend, is selling this single-story home in Auburn. Check it out. I've got a link to her website, although it's not clickable. But here's the information here. There's a phone number, and they can text her, they can call her. Okay, how cool is that? And that looked really good. Here's another one I made. I took in Photoshop. I took a picture of the home, and I put some just graphics on it. Call Noel Kreider for a showing. My friend is selling this charming thing. Okay, so call her for information. So that's Instagram. Now, I have an Instagram business account because you can convert your Instagram, personal Instagram, to a business Instagram. You say, why would I want to do that? Well, okay, Instagram has 5 times the engagement of Facebook. So it's a great place to be able to share. Here's some details about it. Personal account, personal connection, higher organic visibility, no analytics and insights tools, no advertising tools available. You switch it to an account. And by the way, it's not hard to do. Let me go to my Instagram. Here we go. So I've already changed it, but what you do is you would come into here, you'd click on this gear, and there would be one that would say options. So once you click on options, then it'll say, hey, I'd like to, flip the switch and turn my personal account to a business account. And once you turn it to a business account, you can promote, you can do all kinds of things inside the account. By the way, you can link it to, it needs to be linked to a Facebook business page to at least to get it started. Once you got it going, it's still connected there. I mean, this is my business, basically a business account, that I have. But you can do all kinds of things with it, and you can show like your category of your title. You can show the name of your business. You have more information to talk about who you are and where you are as well.
On that subject, so Auburn here, where this listing is, it happens to be near Sacramento and on the way to Lake Tahoe skiing. Well, I'm a skier, and I have a friend who has a house in Auburn, so I go stay at his house, and then I drive up 45 minutes to the ski slope. So one suggestion that I have for you is on these social media things. Let's say you have this house in Auburn, engage the people, for example, who are skiers, right? There's lots of them, and lots of them moved out. And why would you do that? Well, you would do that because now you strike up a conversation based on their interest, right? It's not just about the house, and you extend your friends network this way, and you can do that with many other things. So on Facebook, of course, you have the selection criterion, right? So you can put a radius and find everybody in your radius or this and that. But if you start engaging people on this, on let's say skiing or whatever that is, bowling or soccer or whatever, and you find some topic there that applies to some extent in the area where you have this house, well, you're going to get a little bit of, obviously you're going to have people who also are not necessarily in the market for a house, but you extend your network and you have something more interesting to talk about than just the house, right? Which is really the subject of this, but you also want to get sellers, right? And so with the sellers, whether you have a house or not, that's not that relevant. There you sell yourself all the time, right? Because the question is whether they work with you or somebody else, just as an idea.
No, I think of that too. And working with agents, I know a lot of times they just think about the house, what's sitting on that lot, the house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and they don't think about the community and what might be related to that house, the school, the park, the transportation, how close is it to the I know like where you live, Gabe, it's near the transportation, right? That takes you into San Francisco to work. So you don't have to live in San Francisco where, the homes are $1.8 million. You can, not that they're expensive where Gabe lives too, but the idea is describe, interject or connect that home with its environment. And that's more to talk about. It's more to share about. Of course, that's what you're doing. You're sharing your expertise anyway. So I think Instagram is gonna grow like crazy. Oh, I already know it's growing like crazy. I've seen the stats. It's phenomenal how many more people are using Instagram and engaging with it. And as a real estate agent, I know some real estate agents have gone into, hey, I think I should use Snapchat. I'm like, hey, if you haven't used Instagram to its fullest, I think that's a lot better place to put your money and your time and your efforts. But it's up to you. Everybody's going to find a social media network that works for them, but don't pass up on Instagram. And by the way, you have to Instagram. You pretty much have to upload content on a mobile device. That's just the way it is. They do have some tools that you can interact with your Instagram account, but I'm going to tell you that they really make it so it's really made so that it's on the kind of on the fly. I don't mean on the fly, but easy on like a cell phone to be able to upload images. So anyway, that's just the way it is. It's made to be more, I guess, in the moment or sharing quickly with your cell phone. That's just the way it is. There are some tools. I'm on a Mac. There are some tools that I can use to do that with and upload it, so I don't have to do it on my phone. But it's
Just
really
one
made
more,
to do that. Yeah.
just one more thought here. So the MLS, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of clients who are new. They call me up and they say, "Okay, I heard about RealBird, and can you do this automatically?" And so "Oh, my MLS syndicates to 2,600 sites," and then they give me the sites like, for example. Um, uh, well, maybe I shouldn't give an example, but anyways, so all of them are irrelevant, right? Except maybe 5 or 6, and so I tell them, well, really, you have a house that you want to sell for, I don't know, $500,000, $1 million, and you don't want to put in something about yourself, why somebody who doesn't know you, who is a potential lead, right? That's the definition of it, should work with you and not with your competition. You want the MLS to do that for you. The MLS has nothing about you, right? So all this social media stuff is not just, you have to look at it, it's not just about selling a house. It's about promoting yourself, and you're the product, and you have to, everything you do, try to do it in such a way that they understand that you're a better option than somebody else. Because you have, in most areas, there's at least a few thousand agents, right? And so how do you shine out of it? Well, the MLS is not going to do anything for you there. It's the social media stuff. And if you make it such that your messages are more or less persistent and you increase your footprint online, then obviously, that's going to help you over time even much more, right?
Yeah, I think the MLS is going to do its job to scrape your personal information off that listing as a seller, and is going to hopefully find a buyer to bring an offer to your house. There's nothing wrong with that. Let them do their job. But if you don't take advantage of the opportunity you have to promote that listing and be aggressive back to your seller and also your branding, what does this communicate? To me, what this communicates is Noel does a great job of staging a home, pricing it right, marketing it right. She does video. She does awesome photography. She shares it everywhere. To me, that's a whole nother opportunity to, like Gabe says, to promote who you are. That communicates, gosh, well, I have a house to sell in Auburn, and my house doesn't look that good. Maybe Noel can help me sell my house. So anyway, that's how you have to think about it. And don't pass up on the opportunities. And don't put all the marketing in someone else's hands. You have plenty of opportunity, particularly with RealBird, to be able to make these things happen. So I just want to share real quickly. Here's Pinterest. So I'm going to take this listing that she has, and I'm going to share it in Pinterest. So we're going to do that right now. So I've got Noel Kreider's Pinterest account up here. She's got a board called Auburn Real Estate. I want to save it to that one. Okay, and I can see it now. It's going to show me what that's going to look like. And RealBird formats that information. So this is in here now, and when people click this, they're going to be able to see the information about here. It's now been pinned to her. It's pinned here. I can add another photo on. I can add photos and comments if I want to. Let's see what else I have in here launched right now. Oh, I have the Twitter. Here's Active Rain, where I can create a blog post. Many of you probably might not even know about Active Rain. I'm going to tell you on the free level with Active Rain, and within this network, it's business to business. It's you connecting with other real estate type professionals. It's a network. It's nationwide. I can go to her blog and I can write a post, and then I'm kind of doing this on the fly to show you. Let's see. So I want to go to the links here, post to Active Rain. So basically this is like a hub, like a marketing center. I guess that's probably even better than Toolbox to be able to help you market your listings, and your listings. I'm going to leave that in there. I'm going to generate the code. I'm going to grab this information. This is going to format what that's going to look like inside Active Rain when I use this code. I'm going to go and select it all, copy it. There we go. And I'm going to go over to her Active Rain account, and I'm going to add that as a blog post. I'm going to come down here, and in the the source code here, that's where I'm looking for those, that kind of less than greater than sign means HTML, and that's what RealBird's giving me. I just pasted that in there. I might want to use this title, so I'm going to copy that out of there. I'm going to come up to the top here and add that title in here. Charming one-story Auburn City Rancher home. I'm going to do home for sale. I think I'll make a low one-story. I call low care. Probably a good way to do it. Doesn't take a lot of effort to keep this house up. Okay. I'm going to choose an image. So I'm going to go ahead and choose an image of that home. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, this one's good. I like this one. That's nice and full. Okay. Upload the picture. Looks great. Now this is format. You won't really see this till you make it live. This is basically bringing that listing. Members only. She's at the free level, so that's why only people that are members of Active Rain will see this. It is a listing. Okay. I can put the full address in there. I click the calendar. They usually do ask you, say, hey, how long is this listing good for? It's not going to shut off then, but I just pick a point about 3 to 4 months out. Disable comment. No, this is not a comment. Okay, here we go. There we go. For sale. Let's say I need to take something out here. I'll take charming out. Okay, so let me see if I got that all right there. Got that all right there. Okay, I can preview that. By the way, I can preview that. See how it's going to look. Okay. All right. Save it. And then publish it. Okay. So this is using the resources you have available to you. And it's a posting right there. Let's see what other places I can post. I'm jumping a little too fast here. It's still spinning here. Okay, so I can post that in Active Rain. I post it on Pinterest. Those are some ones that we usually don't share. I usually haven't shared much in the past in sharing there the listing, but RealBird makes that easy with these tools you see down here, or these tools here you can see. Okay, all right. I want to talk about like what can you share in your social media networks, and if you want to find sellers. And might be show off what you've done before online. See some of the homes that I've helped people sell in the town of Auburn. That you can share that. RealBird gives that to you. Here, watch this. So I'm back inside the RealBird account, and I'm going to listing marketing. So I locked myself out. There we go. Remember me eventually. Okay, let's go to that listing. Oh, let's go right up here at listing marketing, and let's go right here to widgets. So let's do a listing map. Let's do what we've sold. How about that? And let's see single family, and let's preview that code. Okay. Wow, look at that. These are the homes that she sold. Let's see. So I can take this information and I can post it within a post on her post on her website, and then link to it. Hey, see some of the homes that have sold in Auburn. What would your home sell? What would your home sell for if you were to put your home on the market or something like that? And so you can actually create that right here. Those are just a single family home she sold. But so basically you could use this information that's given. There's also another way to share with it the listing gallery. For some folks that might look a little more interesting. Let's not active. Let's do sold, and let's do single family, and let's preview that code. So in a way, this might be another way to be able to show that. Let's see. Listing board, that's the one. Listing gallery, so people can like flip through the pictures. I like this one the best. Let's show here. This is under listing board, and let's do not active. Let's do sold, and let's do most recent first. Yeah, so these are some of the homes we sold in the area, and so that you can grab this information. This would be in the post, and you link to it. Okay, so you really have to ask yourself, and this is kind of like brainstorming. What are some of the things? Get your house ready to sell. What you should do. Okay, here's a list. Here's a checklist. So this is just examples of questions that sellers might have, and how you can be a resource. When I work with my agents, a lot of times I realize real estate agents, they have more knowledge in their brain than they think they do. I set up a website for my real estate clients that they can blog and share their listings and expertise on. And many times I have agents that say, I don't know how to blog. I don't know how to do that. I said, okay, if I was a potential client and I'm calling you on the phone and say, hey, I just got a job upgrade and I'm moving to this town, to your town. What should I be looking for in a home, and what areas? Well, any of you realtors that are now learning from us on this webinar here today, you can tell me on the fly because you have that expertise. But if it's a private conversation, you're not sharing with anybody but with that client. Well, guess what? All these questions you're asked as an expert are great fodder, are a great starting point for a blog, an article, a post. Okay? So think of it that way. What are some of the questions? If you just wrote down the questions that people ask you in the course of your business, each one of them, by answering those questions in like an article or blog post or a social media post, which when I work with my clients, I do both, so that they actually get sent out the different networks right from posting blogs and articles within your website. There's a way to do that. It's really cool. Anyway, write down those questions. That's fodder. If one person is asking that question, there's probably 10 others that want to ask that question but didn't know they could or didn't want to bother you. So if people are asking, there are other people asking. So be aware of that. These are just some of I'm thinking about downsizing. This is a big thing. I mean, a lot of baby boomers, more and more baby boomers every day. They don't want the big house with the big yard and the lawn and the maintenance. And they're thinking about that. And a real estate agent, that's your expertise. Okay? Share your testimonials and say, why? That sounds kind of like, it's kind of braggadocious, right? Sharing, hey, this is what people think of me. What do you think of me? Like Mark Twain said, hey, if it's true, it ain't bragging. It's Mark Twain. Anyway, but believe it or not, testimonials are a great way to teach others about how you work, and they're going to actually can give more weight to what other people say about you than what you say about you. So thinking about that. And you got to remember, here's one thing I've learned. People are looking for a realtor to trust. And I think realtors forget that sometimes. It's amazing how real estate agents will say, hey, I noticed John and Mary sold their home and I helped them. I got them that house. How come they didn't contact me? Well, you didn't stay in contact with them. You didn't share expertise with them on a regular basis to keep them connected to you as their professional. So you have to think about that. Okay, what about for buyers? What are some of the things that a potential home buyer, what are they concerned about? Sharing a property search, sharing offers for new listing alerts, market updates to show here's what's happened in the marketplace. There's homes in Pleasanton. Here's one of our RealBird clients, Doug Bowens. He's in Pleasanton, California. Pleasanton, California is an area, and he's like the specialist in that area. He's like the Pleasanton. I can't tell you how many homes he sold in Pleasanton over the lot. It's a lot. Here's some of the numbers and stats. Yeah, local homes here right around Pleasanton, mostly Pleasanton, in the last few years, over 500 homes. It's amazing. He did 48 last year. But what's interesting to me is he shares his expertise all the time, and he knows the area. And he shares updates. He shares updates on videos in Facebook. Hey, here's what's happened in the Pleasanton market. Here's what's happening on the music scene. Here's what's happening at the winery. He's sharing that expertise. And I think, and when he answers questions, here's another great agent that's done really well for posting, listing, and open house alerts. His name's Cliff Keith. He's in the Bay Area. He's actually not too far from Gabe. And what he does is on his website, what he does is he shares Friday weekly, what is it called? Friday weekly updates. So basically you can find, where the open houses are. This is a really big deal. A lot of people follow this for a while and then eventually see him as a resource and connect with them to sell their house. So he has open house guides that people can connect with Here's the open houses that are happening. So you can subscribe to that, and he will tell you what's going on and where the open houses are.
And guys, if you want to see an interesting house, go to his website and see the shipwrecked house. It's a really interesting house.
Where's that? Oh, right here.
Scroll down. Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, wow, cool. And that's in Newcastle.
It's cliffshomes.com, I think.
Well, yeah, sfbayhomes.com.
SF Bay Homes.
Yeah, SF Bay Homes. So, what, they built it out of a wrecked ship?
No, it looks like a ship. When you look at it from the outside, it's at this lake, and there was this engineer who built this, and the inside is all sort of like out of the box. The whole place is out of the box. I don't know. It's like a $3 million, $4 million home. It's also located kind of like far away from most everything by that lake.
Wow, that's awesome. So the idea that he's sharing something interesting. Like I say, you have to get in the head of a potential seller or buyer, and you have to pique their interest. Share your expertise and knowledge. One of the share articles on keeping your home up to date. Keeping the value up in your home. How do you do that? Those are some of the questions. So you have to think about. You have to think about in that way. How can I? What social media networks am I going to be active in? Obviously you're going to have your list of those that you're going to have a profile in to be able to share your listings and expertise, but then try to focus on 2 that you can interact with on a next level, and be aggressive with that. I want to see if there are any questions you have today. We talked kind of focused on someone on Facebook, someone on the new tools for RealBird, on Instagram. I hope you use all of these, and I hope you're aggressive in at least a couple of them. RealBird makes it easy it's like the hardest working around $100 a year that I've ever seen in marketing. I've been doing this for this is my 20th year that I've been in real estate technology, marketing technology with agents.
So one thing that I also should mention here while you're still here is that we're coming out also with some more stuff, a few weeks, one of them being a landing page for valuation, and then you can use that to send out and fish for home sellers, and also a more flexible editor for landing pages, so you can create landing pages for other stuff like your open homes or your property searches and so on your IDX, and so all that's in the works.
Well, that's awesome. So thanks for coming to our webinar here today. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you'll take advantage of some of the things we're sharing with you today, and you'll put it to work. That's what really leveraging your time. Realtors are getting more monopolized on their time schedule. They have to do more with less. So you need tools like RealBird to leverage your expertise, to leverage your listings, to leverage your photography and your properties that you take and your buyer resources. Put them to work. This RealBird works hard, night and day. I know me with my clients that are using these expensive virtual tour companies. You don't need them anymore. RealBird can help you with that. And I really appreciate RealBird's constantly adding to what they're offering. I mean, it was already awesome before, but it's continuing to be even more and more awesomer if that's possible. Well, thanks everybody for coming to the webinar. I share my information here. If I do these trainings, if you need help setting up these systems, feel free to give me a call. Actually, email me there. There's my email right there. And I'd love to steer you in the right direction, and you might just need a little guidance in how to be able to use these tools and be more productive and more advanced, and leveraging your time and efforts to be more successful. Thanks everybody for coming today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in a few weeks. We'll be back again in April, and we're willing to share more. We want you to be successful. We want you to be the best agents out there using the best tools. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Gabe.